Hey, what's up you guys, Caboose XP, bringing you another Batman Arkham VR video, and today what we're going to be doing is breaking down and explaining the ending and overall story to Batman Arkham VR. Now, the game's been out for about 5 days now alongside the release of the PlayStation VR, and I know plenty of you have a lot of questions about the game and what exactly went down by the time the credits started rolling. Well, I have some answers for you, but before we get to those answers, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Batman Arkham Videos for supplying some of the gameplay that you're going to be seeing in this video. I didn't get the PlayStation VR, I just ended up watching his walkthrough just because the PlayStation VR was a little bit too much money and I wasn't ready to drop that much money just to play Batman Arkham VR, as excited as I was for the game. But I watched his playthrough. He of course is the Arkham Master, so he did everything 100% perfection, and I asked him permission if I could use some of his gameplay to help explain my points in this video, and he allowed me to do so. So thank you to Arkham Videos. His channel is going to be linked in the description. You can go subscribe to it. I highly suggest that you do. With all that out of the way, let's get into the ending and the overall story to Batman Arkham VR and my overall explanation of the story. So here's the thing about Batman Arkham VR. What you guys keep telling me is that it's not canon. There's no way. Nightwing dies. Batman's still wearing the Arkham City prototype suit that he wears in the beginning of Arkham Knight. Robin dies. What's going on? There's no way that this could take place within the Arkhamverse canon. It just makes no sense. Yes, it does. Batman Arkham VR and all the events that take place within it are a dream. None of it is real. The first part of the game opens with you seeing the death of the Wayne family, followed by an alarm and you waking up at the piano in Wayne Manor. If Inception has taught us anything, you never know how you get to a place in a dream. You just end up there. Except this isn't a dream in Batman Arkham VR. All the events in this game are a nightmare, and it is actually the first time that Batman is experiencing the effects of the Joker blood inside him after the events of Batman Arkham City. There's also a really well-placed Easter egg inside of Batman Arkham VR in which you will find a radio scanner in the Batcave. Once you tune the radio scanner to a specific frequency, it starts speaking out some numbers. This is very similar to what we got in Batman Arkham City, in which we got the Easter egg that alludes to Batman Arkham Knight. When translating these numbers to letters, you will actually get the words, "Wake up, Bruce," once again confirming that Batman Arkham VR is a nightmare and none of the events within it are real. Batman Arkham VR takes place moments before or a little bit before the events of Batman Arkham Knight, and a lot of what happens in Arkham VR is a big influence on how Batman reacts and acts towards his allies in Batman Arkham Knight, and it's absolute brilliance and perfect writing, and I have to applaud the team at Rocksteady for what they did with Arkham VR because it is an absolute gem. There's also a moment in Batman Arkham VR towards the beginning of the game when you are suiting up in which you hear what the suit model of the Batsuit you're using in Arkham VR is, and you actually can find out that that is an earlier model than the one you use at the beginning of Batman Arkham Knight, once again confirming that the events of Arkham VR take place before the events of Batman Arkham Knight. So, to round it up, Batman Arkham VR takes place before Batman Arkham Knight. This is the first time that Batman has a hallucination of the Joker. This hallucination comes in the form of a nightmare. In fact, some of the events in Batman Arkham Knight in which you first see the Joker and he says, "Miss me?" could be in reference to the nightmare that Batman has in Arkham VR, as of course that would be in the Arkham canon the first time that Batman starts seeing hallucinations of the Joker. Now here's where the sheer brilliance comes in, and here's what I'm talking about when I say that Batman Arkham VR is an absolutely beautifully written game, because there's a moment in Batman Arkham VR that elevates Batman Arkham Knight and actually increases the value of the writing in Batman Arkham Knight as everything starts to come full circle. So one thing that everyone had a problem with in Batman Arkham Knight, and I even had some gripes with it as well, is that Batman absolutely insists on not working with Nightwing or not working with Robin. Granted, there are moments in the game in which you do, but Batman is so reluctant to it. He just doesn't want to work with these guys. He absolutely pushes them away, and he just insists on working alone.
Still lurking around on rooftops.
You shouldn't have come here. Not tonight.
Like, are you kidding me? When I heard about Barb...
North Refrigeration. Tell me what you know.
everyone initially assumed that maybe this was just Batman being Batman, or, you know, they don't want you playing as these other characters. They want you to focus on the narrative of Batman throughout the story. But what you can find out through Batman Arkham VR, if you played the game, of course, is that by the end, the revelation in the nightmare is that Batman is the one to have killed Nightwing. And Batman is also sort of responsible for the death of Robin. He couldn't save him when Killer Croc took him out. So, considering that Arkham VR takes place before the events of Arkham Knight, and yes, it was just a nightmare, but once Batman sees the Joker and the hallucination of him in Arkham Knight, and he finds out that, you know, this wasn't just some nightmare, this was the consequence of the Joker toxin that's in his blood, he realizes that he is a danger to everyone around him. He's a danger to people like Nightwing. His nightmare could come true and he could kill Nightwing. His nightmare could come true and Robin could die. So he wants to keep these people safe, and in doing so, he pushes them away and insists on working alone. And that is brilliance. When you get a full circle moment like that, that is so freaking cool, and I applaud Rocksteady for what they did with Batman Arkham VR, because it could have just been a lazy little Batman VR thing that was a cool experience for people to have fun with, but they decided to actually pay attention to detail and actually focus on making a well-written game, and that is something worth tipping your hat off to, and I will do so. Thank you, Rocksteady, for making another phenomenal entry to the Arkham franchise with Batman Arkham VR, and I hope my explanation helped you guys understand exactly what went down in the events of Batman Arkham VR and how exactly it does fit perfectly into the Arkhamverse canon. With all that said, I'm Caboose XBL. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter and like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. Also subscribe to Arkham Videos. His gameplay was featured in this video, and you can subscribe to him. The link for that will also be in the description. See you guys later.